India going nuclear. Well, not that nuclear. This. This is thorium. Thorium is a weakly radioactive metallic chemical element with simple Th and atomic number 90. It is moderately soft and has high melting point. It is quite reactive and can ignite when finely divided. Oh, really? Thorium is a naturally occurring slightly radioactive metal discovered in 1828 by Swedish chemist John Jacob Berzelius. Sorry, fellow Vikings. He named it after Thor. Thor, yeah, the Norse god of thunder.
I knew it.
It is found in most rocks and soils where it is about 3 times more abundant than uranium. Thorium is very insoluble, which is why it is plentiful in sand but not in seawater in contrast to uranium. Pure thorium is a silvery white metal that retains its luster for several months. However, when it is contaminated with oxide, thorium slowly tarnishes in air, becoming grey and eventually black. When it is heated in air, thorium metal ignites and burns brilliantly with a white light. It has one of the highest melting point of all oxides, about 3300 degrees Celsius. Well, that's freaking hot. So it has found applications in light bulbs, arc light lamps, welding electrodes, heat resistant ceramics, scientific instruments, and cameras. Yep, cameras, who'd have thought? So you may be thinking, why India? Well, India is one of the largest thorium deposits in the world with a capacity over 360,000 tons. In terms of energy production, 1 ton of thorium is equal to 35 tons of uranium or 4 million tons of coal. Yep, pretty amazing, isn't it? Through neutron bombardment, thorium turned into uranium-233, which is then used for nuclear reactions. So, wait a minute. So, it just turned thorium into uranium. So, that's boom, right? Right? Nah. Unlike uranium-235, which is used in most nuclear power generation, the thorium-derived uranium-233 is terrible for Yep. Nuclear waste from traditional uranium takes over 100,000 years for degradation to its half-life, while thorium is just 300 years and is much less toxic in comparison. So, are you gonna talk about India? Yeah. Well, India has a plan, which is a 3-stage nuclear power program. It was formulated by the physicist Homi G. Bhabha in 1950s to secure the country's long-term energy independence through the use of uranium and thorium reserves found in the sands of coastal regions of South India. The ultimate focus of this program is on enabling the thorium reserves of India to be utilized in meeting the country's energy requirements. Bhabha created 3-stage nuclear program as a way to develop nuclear energy by working around India's limited uranium resources. Thorium itself not a fissile material and thus cannot undergo fission to produce energy. Instead, it must be transmuted to uranium-233 in a reactor fueled by fissile materials. The first 2 stages, natural uranium fueled heavy water reactor and plutonium fueled fast breeder reactor, are intended to generate sufficient fissile material from India's limited uranium resources, so that all its vast thorium resources can be fully utilized in the 3rd stage of thermal breeder reactor. India currently have 23 nuclear reactors in operation, of which most of them are pressurized heavy water reactor which uses unenriched natural uranium, which is way cheaper than enriched uranium. Natural uranium consists of a mix of mostly uranium-238 with a small amount of uranium-235 and a trace amount of other isotopes. 9 new nuclear reactors are under construction, of which 3 are water-water energetic reactor type which uses enriched uranium, which is uranium-235 as a fuel. Well, that stuff is used for... Yep, not that promising. 5 of this is pressurized heavy water reactor which uses unenriched uranium or natural stuff. But the one is the prototype fast breeder reactor. Yay! The fast breeder reactor is a nuclear reactor that generates more fissile material than it consumes, and it is fueled by plutonium-239 to produce energy and more plutonium-239. By the end, the reactor would have produced more fissile material than it would have consumed, thus earning the name breeder. Well, this sounds exactly like Bhabha's 2nd stage nuclear power production program. India planned 36 more nuclear projects. Even though it sounds ambitious, government already gave green signal to 15 of those. All 15 are similar to what we already have, meaning no thorium yet. But don't give up your hopes yet. Out of 36 planned projects, one is Advanced Heavy Water Reactor or AHWR 300. It is the latest Indian design for next generation nuclear reactor that burns thorium in its fuel core. Oh yeah. It is planned to form the third stage in India's three-stage nuclear power production program. The final stage of the cycle would involve the use of plutonium-239 recovered from the second stage in combination with thorium-232 to produce energy and uranium-233, which is another fissile material. This production of uranium from thorium would complete the cycle. So produced uranium would then be used as a fuel for the remaining part of the fuel cycle. Oh, okay, cool mate, but why should we switch to thorium? First of all, nuclear energy, including uranium based, is incredibly efficient as a source of power. It creates very few emissions and is really safe. In 70 years and with a total of 667 nuclear power plants that have ever operated, only 3 major accidents have taken place. Those are Chernobyl, Fukushima and 3 Mile Island. International Atomic Energy states that 31 people died in 3 months following the Chernobyl accident. 2 of those deaths were due to initial explosion, while the remaining 29 were the first responder who got radiation sickness. As for Fukushima accident, only 1 person is officially recognized to have died because of radiation exposure. That said, additional 573 indirect deaths are attributed to the disaster, mostly due to evacuation stress. And what about death at 3 Mile Island? 0. Yep, 0. Using the official internationally recognized death statistics for 3 Mile Island, Chernobyl and Fukushima, the combined loss of life from the 3 major nuclear accidents is 32 people. In fact, the estimates on the number of deaths caused by the nuclear energy sector is overall 90 per 1000 trillion watt-hour, which is the least for any energy sector. In comparison, the loss of life from fossil fuel is about 100,000 deaths for every 1000 trillion watt-hour of energy supplied by burning coal, 36,000 deaths for oil and 4,000 deaths for natural gas. Hydro, wind and solar is all another topic for another day. Thorium's advantage starts from the moment it is mined and purified. Naturally occurring thorium is thorium-232, the isotope useful for the nuclear reactors. That's a heck lot better than uranium that we need. Then there is safety side of thorium reactors. Unlike uranium-235, thorium is not fissile. That means no matter how many thorium nuclei you pack together, they will not on their own start splitting apart and exploding. If you want to make thorium nuclei to split apart, you simply start throwing neutrons at them. Then when you need to stop the reaction, you simply turn off the source of neutrons and the whole process shut down. Thorium isolated uranium-233 have far less highly radioactive byproducts. Thorium nuclear waste only stays radioactive for about 300 years instead of 100,000 years and is 1000 to 10,000 times less of it to start with. But still, there is one unanswered question. Why the fuck we didn't use thorium in first place? Long answer short, it cannot go cool. Thorium reactors do not produce plutonium, which is what you need to make nukes. Hey mate, but why are you actually making videos on nuclear reactors? I don't know, subscribe and let's figure it out. No, don't do it. Don't do it.